On a quiet evening in Raleigh, North Carolina, a routine traffic stop turned explosive when Officer Derek Palmer struck a black woman, unaware she was Captain Aisha Reynolds, his new precinct commander. The shocking encounter, caught on video, revealed a truth that would unravel his career and spark a city-wide reckoning. Aisha Reynolds was 38, a seasoned law enforcement officer with a reputation for reform. Born in Durham, she'd risen through the ranks of the Raleigh Police Department, earning a master's in criminal justice and a record of turning troubled precincts around. In January 2025, she was appointed captain of the 4th Precinct, a role that made her one of the highest-ranking black women in the department's history. Her mandate was clear: root out misconduct and rebuild community trust. Aisha was known for her calm authority, but she didn't advertise her position outside work. She drove a modest SUV, lived in a middle-class neighborhood, and kept her badge in her purse when off-duty. On the evening of March 28, 2025, Aisha was driving home from a community meeting at a local church. She'd been discussing police outreach programs, her blazer and slacks a far cry from her captain's uniform. Around 8 p.m., she noticed blue lights flashing behind her on MLK Boulevard. She pulled over, assuming it was a routine stop. Officer Derek Palmer, 29, approached her window. Palmer had been with the department for 5 years, known for his aggressive style and a string of complaints about excessive force, mostly dismissed due to lack of evidence. His body cam was on, but he didn't know it would capture a career-ending moment. Palmer asked for Aisha's license and registration, his tone sharp. She handed them over, her movements deliberate. "What's the issue, officer?" she asked calmly. Palmer claimed she'd run a red light, a false accusation, as Aisha knew the intersection had a green light when she passed. She challenged him politely. "I didn't run a light. Can you clarify?" Palmer's jaw tightened. He didn't like being questioned, especially not by a black woman in a car he assumed didn't match her profile. "Step out of the vehicle," he ordered, his voice rising. Aisha complied, stepping onto the sidewalk. A small crowd, including a teenager named Jamal, 16, gathered across the street, some filming on their phones. Palmer demanded to search her car, claiming he smelled marijuana, a lie Aisha immediately called out. "There's no basis for a search," she said. "I'm a law enforcement officer. Let's de-escalate this." Palmer scoffed, assuming she was bluffing. "You're no cop," he snapped, stepping closer. When Aisha held up her hand to signal for space, Palmer reacted instinctively, striking her across the face with an open hand. The crowd gasped. Aisha stumbled but didn't fall, her eyes locked on Palmer's. The teenager, Jamal, caught the moment on video, streaming it live on Instagram. "He hit her," he shouted, his voice cracking. Aisha, her cheeks stinging, straightened up. "You just made a mistake, officer," she said, her voice steady but cold. "I'm Captain Aisha Reynolds, 4th Precinct. Stand down." Palmer froze, his face draining of color. He'd heard of the new captain but hadn't met her. She'd been working administrative duties while transitioning into a role. The name hit him like a brick, but his ego kept him from backing down. "Prove it," he said, his voice wavering. Aisha pulled her badge from her purse, holding it up. The crowd murmured, some recognizing her from community events. Palmer's eyes widened, but he doubled down, insisting she was resisting. He reached for his cuffs, but Aisha's voice cut through. "Call dispatch. Verify my ID. Now." Palmer hesitated, then radioed in. The dispatcher confirmed Aisha's identity within seconds, her tone urgent. "Officer, that's Captain Reynolds. Stand down immediately." Palmer lowered his radio, his hands shaking. The crowd was growing, their phones still recording. Aisha took control. "Turn off your body cam and wait by your vehicle," she told Palmer. He complied, his bravado gone. She called for backup, and within minutes, 2 officers arrived, both visibly stunned to see their captain at the scene. They took Palmer's statement while Aisha spoke to the crowd, asking them to send their videos to the department's internal affairs unit. Jamal approached her, still holding his phone. "I got it all," he said. Aisha nodded. "Thank you. You did the right thing." She declined medical attention, despite a bruise forming on her cheek, and drove herself home after giving a statement. By 9 p.m., Jamal's video was viral, shared across X and Instagram with hashtags like #RaleighPD and #JusticeForAisha. Local news outlets picked it up, airing the clip with Palmer's face blurred but his badge number visible. The Raleigh Police Department's phone lines were flooded with calls, some demanding Palmer's arrest, others praising Aisha's composure. Aisha's husband, Marcus, a high school principal, was livid when he saw the bruise. "You should press charges," he urged. Aisha shook her head. "This isn't about me. It's about the system." The next morning, Aisha met with Chief of Police Laura Bennett at headquarters. She brought a USB drive with Jamal's video and her own written report. "Palmer's done this before," she said. "His file has 6 complaints, none followed through. That ends now." Chief Bennett, under pressure from the mayor's office, promised a full investigation. Palmer was suspended without pay by noon, his badge and service weapon confiscated. Internal Affairs pulled his body cam footage, which corroborated Jamal's video, showing Palmer's unprovoked strike and Aisha's professional response. The story exploded nationally. CNN ran a segment titled, "Officer Strikes Captain in Shocking Traffic Stop," while the Washington Post published an op-ed on systemic bias in policing, citing Aisha's case. Community activists, including the Raleigh NAACP, organized a rally outside the 4th Precinct, demanding accountability. Aisha attended, not as a speaker but as a listener, standing with Marcus and their 2 teenage daughters. She met Jamal there, thanking him again. His mother, Tanya, hugged Aisha. "You're a role model for my son," she said. Aisha smiled, deflecting the praise. "He's the one who stepped up." Palmer's disciplinary hearing was held in April. Aisha testified, recounting the stop in precise detail. She didn't exaggerate or vilify Palmer but laid out his actions and her identity as his commanding officer. The hearing board, which included 2 civilian oversight members, reviewed the videos and Palmer's record. His prior complaints, mostly from Black and Latino residents, painted a pattern of aggression. He was fired within a week, with the board citing conduct unbecoming an officer. The district attorney considered assault charges, but dropped them after Palmer agreed to surrender his law enforcement certification, barring him from policing again. Aisha used the incident to push for change. As captain, she implemented mandatory de-escalation training for the 4th Precinct, emphasizing bias recognition. She worked with the city council to fund body cam audits, ensuring footage was reviewed regularly. She also started a youth mentorship program, inviting Jamal to join. He did, later crediting Aisha with inspiring him to pursue a career in civil rights law. The program grew, serving 50 kids by year's end, with Aisha personally mentoring several. The public response was mixed. Some on X called Aisha a hero, sharing clips of her calm defiance. Others, including a few anonymous officers, criticized her for embarrassing the department. Aisha ignored the noise, focusing on her work. At a city council meeting in May, she spoke about the incident publicly for the first time. "This wasn't just about me," she said. "It's about every person who's been profiled or mistreated. We fix this by holding ourselves accountable." The room gave her a standing ovation. Chief Bennett promoted Aisha to deputy chief in June 2025, recognizing her leadership. The 4th Precinct's complaint rate dropped 15% under her reforms, and community trust surveys showed improvement. Palmer, meanwhile, faded from view, reportedly moving out of state. His name became a cautionary tale in police training manuals used to teach officers about the consequences of unchecked bias. Aisha continued her work, balancing her role with family life. Marcus framed a photo of her speaking at the rally, hanging it in their living room. Their daughters, inspired by their mother, started a school club to discuss racial justice. Aisha's bruise healed, but the story didn't fade. It lived on in Raleigh, shared by residents, activists, and officers as a reminder that authority doesn't excuse prejudice, and that one woman's strength could change a city's course.